privileged to have heard the session, and I think some of the discussions that happened, and I was thinking that the CEOs and the business heads, how much they talk about people and human resources, and how less we as HR professionals, we actually end up talking so little of that. Actually, incidentally, we are talking more about technology today, while they were talking about people. I think it was a privilege to listen to them, and some of the lessons that we heard, or some of the insights that we heard, we must reflect on those. I'm sure the group here was also privileged to listen to that. My name is Anurag, Aman. I'm a part of the people advisory business of Ernst & Young. EY, essentially, it's been it's my second week at EY. I've been in consulting for over 25 years now, so I've worked with organizations like Hewitt, Aon, KPMG. Still recently, I was heading Kincentric, a global advisory firm, which was a Spencer Stuart company. So that's my background. I have the privilege of having, a lot of very seasoned HR professionals over here. In fact, we have Shaleen, essentially, it comes from Transsion. It's a phone making company. It is one of the largest phone making companies after the top three. I think would love to hear a little bit more about him and his company as well. Good over 2 decades of experience working with telecom companies as well as phone manufacturing companies. I think we'll have some great insights from him. So, Shaleen, do you want to just say a few words about yourself?
Yeah. So, good morning, everyone, and it's good to be here again. This is my third presence with the Rethink, and I'm really excited to meet all of you. Thanks, Anurag. So, my name is Shaleen Manik, and I am the Group CHRO for Transsion India. It's a global mobile handset organization, fourth in the world after Xiaomi, Samsung, Oppo, and then Transsion India. We operate mobile brands like itel, Techno, and Infinix in India. Undoubtedly, the market leader in feature phone and the market leader in less than 15K category. And I've been fortunate enough to lead the people function for this group for the last 5 years. Before that, I spent good 10 years with Vodafone across the board and headed the Circle HR head role almost across the northern side. And then I spent good 5.5 years with InfoEdge, which is a parent group company for brands like Naukri, Jeevan Sati, Shikha, and 99 Acres. So great to be here, and I know digitalization in the modern workspace is a topic which has been well floated around in various conferences, but I'm looking forward to share some more insight, new insight, which can really add value to us going forward, and maybe we can scribble down certain good points to be taken back home.
Thank you, Shaleen.
Yeah. So
thank you so much. Sudeep, again, you have extensive experience, almost 2 decades, and you are with HCL Healthcare. In fact, it's very interesting to note your business model and how you operate. In fact, HCL is known for technology, and healthcare is something which is an upcoming area for them. But do share a little bit about yourself, and we are privileged to have you over here. Would love to hear as we move along in the discussion, but a little bit about yourself and your experience.
Sure. Thank you very much. So, my name is Sudeep Sharma. I represent HCL Healthcare, a group employs more than 2 lakh employees globally. People-centric group, definitely working in this technology domain from last 45 years. And we are a 10 years old company, HCL Healthcare, one of the newest in the league of HCL. We essentially provide the primary healthcare solutions to all the corporate houses of the country. So in case you're looking for some serious player who are into healthcare and who can take care of employees' health, please contact us. We have a lot of executives working here, and we are also sponsoring this event. So thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Shikha. So we have the third panelist, Shikha. Shikha again comes from a significant experience in technology, media, telecom, heading HR for a technology firm which seems to be doing some very interesting work. Would love to hear more about how some of the technology that you deploy on the people front. But Shikha, a bit about yourself and your organization. I think that will be great to know.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone. My name is Shikha Rastogi, and I'm heading HR for Bloomsea Technologies. Bloomsea Technology is an engineering design company, and we cater point cloud software product to US, Europe, Canadian, and Indian markets. We have a point cloud software which, in a very simple way, I can say that we ease out life of engineers when it comes to improving their productivity and efficiency in their day-to-day life by providing them heat maps to various data points at their desk. We are catering to U.S. Marine, U.S. Navy, to a lot of infrastructure companies, both in India and across globe. And when it comes to my own experience, I have worked into a couple of Fortune 500 companies. I have been fortunate enough to work into both startups as well as legacy-based, both multinational as well as Indian companies. And when it comes to technology and driving digital transformations, I've been fortunate enough to drive that from uh, from 2004. Yeah, that's when I drove my first automation project, and we were trying to come up with a lot of digital marketing campaign, and worked with clients like my company worked with clients like Make My Trip, LG at that point in time, and so basically that's how the entire transformation of workforce is being done. Uh, I have also experienced, implementing uh, learning systems to a lot of HR systems in telecom industry. I've been instrumental in setting up a Spice Learning Academy and also a Gurukul Center of Excellence. In media assignments, I've driven a lot of initiatives which can integrate newsrooms with the digital TV newsrooms with the digital mindsets, digital newsrooms. I have been part of the journey. So that's a very quick brief about my journey.
Wonderful.
And looking forward to share my experience and also understand your viewpoint in terms of what you are expecting, how this entire landscape is transforming for you guys, and what are the challenges which you are experiencing, and is there in some way this panel can help you in addressing those, and it can be a good takeaway for both of us, because it's all a learning, it's all a journey in which we are learning together.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you. So it's a great experience that we have over here today, discussing some of the topics that we want to do. See, we are talking about navigating the digital transformation in the modern workplace. That's the topic, right? If you really look at it, we just heard in the first session also, many of you were there. So the VUCA world and the Bani world, I think this is something which has been, the terms keep getting coined, but the disruptions that we have seen in the last 10 years, in fact, I'll not even say 5 years, the pandemic actually necessitated a significant shift in terms of, how this entire workplace shift is happening. So the work changed, the workplace changed, the workforce changed, right? If you really look at it, all three had a significant leap to be done in the last 4 years. In fact, we have still not, if you really ask me, we still haven't come to terms with the fact that what all has changed. We are still struggling to figure out what will be the true shape of the hybrid workforce, whether we should be hybrid, whether we should be full-time, whether we should be remote. All of that is, we are still struggling with that. Despite all the organizations, whatever they are saying, a lot of these things have not really settled down. And in fact, the number of organizations that we work with, I don't see that settling down very soon. Why is that happening? One major reason for that is essentially that we are actually not necessarily looking at those, the workforce which has shifted. In fact, if you look at the last 4 to 5 years, the millennial workforce has come into being. where they are looking at things very differently. The legacy workforce like ourselves, who are sitting here with 20, 25 years, having worked there, and we have seen a particular way, we have our own way of looking at things, and we are still trying to measure things in the same yardstick the way we used to do maybe 10 years ago. That has changed. If we do not change, everything is going to be extremely irrelevant. In fact, if you look at, if we just talk about technology that organizations are doing, 56% of HR leaders and CEOs, they say that the overall organizational strategy and the HR technology or digital agenda, they are misaligned. 56%. Where is that coming from? It's not because people do not understand. It's simply that there are two different ways of looking at this entire the digitization or digital agenda that is coming across our way. If we really look at it, we used to do workflow automation at some point in time. It became intelligent automation. It became intelligent interaction with the technology. We have moved to a stage of artificial intelligence, machine learning. Now we are moving towards generative AI. Half the conversations are happening today, it's through generative AI, and things are getting done because it is changing the shape of the workforce. As a context, I think that's where we want to start with saying that it's a time of disruption. In fact, if you look at it, it's past us. We have already crossed the disruption that could have happened. It will continue to happen. In that context is where we just want to understand and want to put this question to the panelists. First one will be actually to ask, what is it, why is this relevant, this entire topic that we are talking about, and how do we make sense of it? Maybe, Shaleen, if we can start with you.
Yeah, thanks, Anurag. So, we talk about digital transformation. I think this is a phrase which has been tossed up in every boardroom, conferences, people, corridor conversations, and it becomes relevant because the way HR is going through profound change and rapid change, and the kind of organizations the leaders, especially the CXOs and the CEOs, would like to make the organization for future. So when we term use as future, who are our future talent? The talents are Gen Zs, millennials, and these guys are digital natives, right? They are born with digital spoon. So if you do not give them that weapon to fight the battle, obviously they will not go to the war zone. So, and hence there is a need to have digitalization in every working setup. We cannot live with this. Pre-COVID, post-COVID, definitely that has really pushed the needle further. But at the same time, if you see going forward in 2030, when the Gen Zs will get into the mainstream, this become more and more aggressive. So the best time to really get into this situation is now. Now it depends on the stage of business evolution that you have, whether you are in a startup, or maybe a centric one, or maybe the evolved organization. It all depends on where the stage is and how much digitalization that you need to do. But if an organization feels that they can still get their best out of that without entering into this zone, I think they have a wrong notion. They will lose the competitive advantage very fast. So that's the need that I feel it. If you see, the report says, the Gartner report says that 88% of the CHROs now has to introduce at least 3 technologies in the next 2 years to have that competitive edge. If they don't do it, trust me, they will be far behind. And I'm sure the kind of support the business guys needed from HR, we have to partner with them. So the focus of the entire HR team, I would say, the function has to be aligning with the new technologies which eventually support the business, aligning with the business goals so that we come to their terms and supporting eventually the business goals. And the kind of workforce that we have, the kind of organization complexity we have, today we have multi-location, maybe working from any location, the diverse employment arrangement that we have seen that the gig economy is there. They have been contributing significantly in order to really save cost. So if you have to employ them, how you would do that? It is only the integration of digital workforce that help you to really enhance your scope of working, and that's you will get the best of the world or talent from anywhere. So that's the premise for it. And if you really overlook that, trust me, you will not be able to survive or relevant in future. Plus, the digitalization give you the data centric decision making, and at the end of the day, when you talk to the CEOs, the business leaders, the stakeholders, the shareholders, when you go to them and talk about that, all they need is the data points. If you are asking something from them, how relevant is for them, what is there for them in terms of their business, all such interventions help you to put your point strongly and business case strongly, and that's how the support is. So it's no more a conversation around that I feel so, I think so. It's all about what you are bringing to the table with all the hard facts for them. And when you do that, when you have technology backing you, supporting you, you will be able to win your business cases more profoundly. And hence, I strongly believe that it is only the beginning, as you rightly said. Absolutely, there are many places we are in a rat race in order to introduce digital formation in the organization. But at the same time, we also need to feel that if there is no need, let's not do that. But identify the problem statement, identify the need, how eventually is going to support the business altogether, and then you can take the digital transformation journey forward. It will eventually help the organization.
Fantastic.
I think that's what my view.
Fantastic, Shaleen. I think that sets a great stage. In fact, coming to you, Sudeep, what's your take on this in terms of the relevance, and also, do we really have an option?
I would say, वैसे Shaleen covered everything, so thanks Shaleen. But I would say the kind of diversity we are witnessing in this time, it was never the case ever. Multi-generational, multi-location, not just our employees, but our customers as well. So I'll give you one classic example, and this defines that it is not the matter of how fast you are adopting to changes, but to what extent you should change. I can think of a banking industry. You have a mobile app, you can do anything from mobile app. Any damn thing you want to do, any transaction can be done in mobile app. The moment you are getting into a bank physical setup, there's a kiosk they have kept. You have another chance. You can do everything on that kiosk. But if you're choosing to step in, you'll have to follow their protocol, one table to the other. I'm so sorry to all the bankers in this room. So
They should be sorry, not you.
So it is up to what extent can banking afford to be completely digitized? Answer is no. So they have kept all the models so beautifully integrated because still they have a lot of customers walking into their bank because they enjoy that services, they enjoy that experience. The trust builds there. So this is how we need to accommodate the needs of the customers, not just of employees, and then see how much do we need to really digitize rather than just going about it and doing everything digitized. This is what my take.
So this, what you spoke about was also from a perspective of the business process digitization, and it has reached a stage where now you are interacting with the businesses through whether it is bots, whether it is AI, whether it is conversations. I had an interesting experience when I went to one client, I mean deliberately not taking the name, but walked in and the CHRO was very proudly showing that, you know, when you walk in, the bot would come and, you know, would trace you, and actually your face will give you access, and then after that it will also read your you know, expressions and your state of mind and tell you whether you are happy, sad, frustrated, or all that kind of stuff. And then ultimately they could even do a location-wise analysis in the morning in the next 5 minutes, where it could be circulated to the business heads, where they could actually use that to ensure that, you know, whether and even correlate with the performance, because they had enough and more efficiency data. It's a software company. They had enough and more efficiency data, and they could correlate that. So this kind of stuff is already happening, right? And then we are talking about this is leading straight to the business as well, from a people perspective and from a business perspective, right? But wonderful. Shikha, your experience, let me ask you a little bit about just from perspective on the people front of you know, the technology implementation and adoption in terms of, you know, the relevance and the speed. Is this something that is at the right pace that is happening currently?
Well, I would say that, you know, it depends on the leadership's ability to accept, first of all. Even if CEO has a vision, it's not necessary that it'll get implemented unless leadership team is aligned for adoption, and then downwards, the the team members and the employees below. So basically, communication when it comes to adoption of people's technology, uh, alignment of leadership, communication, ensuring that it's relevant to those kind of uh, organization. That's very, very important. Coming back to relevance of digital transformation at this stage, the way I would look at it and the way I'm looking at it is, in any context, whether you are in a startup company or you are a legacy-based company or you are in the process of evolution, or even you are a company which is undergoing a downturn and trying to revive it, working for a revival. Under all these situations, digital transformation is something which is already happening. Everywhere it's happening. And now the key lies in understanding the digital intelligence. And that is something, how you interpret that data and utilize that in your day-to-day operations. That is something which is a real differentiator to me.
Right.
How you are implementing, and people are very important. How your people are receiving that data and then applying that in their day-to-day life. Basically, how human and machine intelligence is operating together
Right.
to drive performance is something which is happening. And whether it's Gen Z, in the years to come, it would be Gen Alpha to millennials, to whatever category we say that. Everybody's experience, or is very important. Entire, and everyone has to become little bit digitally intelligent now. That's what is the need of the hour. From when you are navigating any kind of transformation, and you have to use your human approach, which means that data is just a navigator. At the end of the day, it's the people who are making choices. So chat GPT, generative AI, to machine learning formats, we are training those models. So if we behave right with them, they will behave right. Or if we will ask right questions, they will give us right answers. That's where key lies.
No, fantastic.
So I see a lot of positive, scope of,
Yeah.
good
No,
things coming out, and
wonderful.
they're already coming out and easing out humans' life.
Wonderful. What you teach them, ultimately that is what they imbibe, and they will ultimately give it back to you. So that's very interesting. Now, this is something I don't think we could have talked about maybe before Chat GPT really arrived, but today we can, because all of those are happening. In fact, they are very interesting. So just for the benefit of everyone. So the three different stages of, if we look at what we do as HR and as an organization. So while we have to have strategically be aligned with the business, but the entire design aspect of all that we do within HR, the entire infrastructure that we actually put in place to execute the design, and hence what is the experience that we generate. So between design, HR infrastructure, and experience, amongst these three of these major pillars of, say, what an HR does, typically we have a multiple stages of, if you look at touch points where technology has already pervaded in terms of, how things are being used, right? When you look at design, just for an example, I was just talking to, I do, mentoring of a lot of HR tech companies. One of the companies has actually ended up creating entire model, which is based on Chat GPT generative AI model, where it can do the entire process of shortlisting people on its own. It can do the 2 rounds or 3 rounds of interviews, in fact, scheduling of the interviews, conversations, evaluation, generate the report, and then actually pass it on to the final interviewer within the organization. It can do that. Now imagine the potential for something like this, right? It has pros and cons, right? Every company has a set of people who are actually doing this process and recruiting. On the other hand, this is, on one side, it is making it like ultra efficient. Really, currently, we don't know how effective it is, but chances are that it will be fairly effective. So similar things. And then what will be the implication of that on the HR function itself, right? That's also some of the things which are also going to be questioned and asked about. So similarly, on the design front or the process front, what are the kind of experience that you have seen or you have had, at least any one area or something that you have actually gone to make it digitize or change that, if you can share that?
So, right, Anurag. So, we primarily a distribution organization, and we have a pan-India presence. And out of 2,000 employees that we have, almost more than 60% of the people are from sales organization. And at the end of the day, we need to take care of their careers also. Obviously, they have a right to grow. And at the same time, they also need to skill themselves, reskill themselves time and again. So the continuous learning is an important aspect of everybody's growth. So we had this normal LMS, which was right administrative way of giving trainings and all that, and those are very cementic, which was not really helping the entire sales workforce, because the kind of pressure, the kind of numbers that they need to generate it's very difficult for them to really talk about an HR giving a call that, okay, you complete this course and all that. So it's difficult. It's easier said than done. So what we came over is to bring on a very mobile-friendly micro-learning tool that really helped the entire sales workforce. And I have seen a tremendous change in the last 2 years, wherein people at ASM or TSM level, after going through this entire journey, those are hypos through a branch manager role. So we have made this entire micro learning tool on the mobile, and which really give them a perspective in terms of going through a lot of trainings on the go when they have time, and sharing their experience on the community that we have, on a collaborative tool that we have. So I have seen that the major shift over in terms of their learning needs coming back from them asking certain courses which really help them to maybe address issues with the retailers, how they can negotiate with, how they can plan it better, how they can really improve their behavioral skills in order to really moving from since we are a feature phone brand as well, how they can really change the gears from a FP to a smartphone brand, how the narrative gets changed when they enter into the distributor point of view. So all that actually modules that we have worked with the organization, we work together, the entire L&D team, and we have seen a transformative journey around that. And now I can proudly say that my sales workforce, even if somebody is sitting in MP, in Guna, and have that skill to really come and compete with the people who are sitting in Bombay, Chennai, Bangalore, and getting into a bigger, broader role in the organization. So this is the power of digitalization, wherein if you have the problem statement and if you have the focus of building an organization for future, and you integrate the tool in order to really give them what they needed, I'm sure these set of people will really stun you. And that's how it really helped us. So this is a life example, an active learning speech that we have, and it's become, since we operate out of 70 countries in the world, and this particular business case has actually gone to our Hong Kong team also, and that has been spread across globally. So that's a winning business case for me as far as the digital transformation journey is concerned.
Brilliant. I think this is something where it must have impacted your business performance.
Absolutely. So much, right? That's what I'm saying. So, since more and more now, feature phone is a 2G market and everybody knows that. So now shifting the mindset for the team to really not sell a feature phone and smartphone, there has to be a mindset shift, because feature phones sell it like this. But what kind of revenue that you generate, because the average selling price of feature phone, as you know, is only $1,000. But the smartphone starts from, let's say now 5G is coming, is 10K plus. So imagine 10 times So for that, having that mindset to sell 10 times of a product, you at least need to gear up of really shifting your mindset and selling it, hitting the retailer, hitting the distributor, talking sense so that they can sell smartphone. So it's a journey that we have, and we are very proud of that journey. It's a successful business case journey that we have incorporated and really helped our field workforce. And we have also gone and took them to a continuous learning platform, wherein now they are on the go. They keep asking whenever they complete a module, say that when are you really moving to the putting up new 10 modules and we want to go through it. Those who are hypos, obviously.
Yeah.
So that's my
Perfect.
answer.
No, thank you so much. I think these are the things which talk about the connect with your overall business strategy, as well as executing
Yeah.
it with the co-opting of the leadership. Of course, they would love to have something like this. So, anything from your end?
So I'll agree with Shaleen first that L&D is one thing wherein technology can be put at its best use.
Yeah.
But in our kind of business model, wherein, so for example, we are supporting community health of one of our client, wherein we have clinics in the remotest part of the country, and we have a setup which can be one nurse sitting at say Mandideep or say Begusarai, one doctor sitting at say Machlia, which is a remote area of Telangana. The biggest challenge what we face is how to create the sense of belongingness amongst these people, because they are sitting so far, they can hardly get to meet us, they hardly get to see us. We'll also not be able to travel to those locations. This is when we thought that considering that we are a multi-location kind of setup, we should create something which is very unique. First thing what we did is we eliminate WhatsApp from our business. We introduced a mobile app which does all the employee communication, including the cross-group communication, because WhatsApp becomes very mundane, very routine, and the information is not actually meeting the purpose. Emails also very restrictive, because the kind of population we are dealing with, we are mostly dealing with clinical team. As I mentioned, we have 300 doctors, as many nurses. So this set of people, they are not very pro in say checking emails. So all kind of communication what we are doing is on that mobile app. So mobile app first looks very cool. Everybody knows, everybody has a smartphone, thanks to you, Shaleen, and your company. And so all kind of communication, all of a sudden we felt that the information is reaching the last mile. Second is we introduced one AI tool wherein we thought that one is of course a sense of belongingness. How can we empower them? In the sense, how can they feel that we are empowered, that our voices are heard even at the top level? So we introduced a system wherein it gets triggered every 90th day. It reaches to all employees on the 90th day of their joining, and every 90th day it keeps reaching out to them, and it gets the feel of the employee, and the reporting of that is only with the CHRO and the CEO of the company. So that means they can share anything. In case there's something troubling from the client side, from the operation side, from the process side, from the HR side as well, they are empowered to share everything. I would be very happy to say that we received issues from 35% of our population.
Wow.
And of which 85% we could retain.
Fantastic.
And in healthcare, it's a business of continuity. If you'll see same doctor every time you'll visit, they'll have more confidence in your capability to deliver. So retention becomes very critical. Against the industry attrition trend of say 70-75%, SCL Healthcare is at attrition under 20% from last 3 years.
Fantastic. And these are the use cases where, it's very interesting to hear. Nobody's talking about the usual workflow automation. We are actually talking about where we are listening to employees. Actually, that is being used to create either increasing the business, retaining people, because that will mean something else for your business. Your growth depends on this, right?
Yeah,
that kind of stuff. So this is amazing. Shikha, let me just ask you on this one that, there are a lot of these things where, we have these tools which can listen to you, they can talk to you, they can capture a lot of information. A lot of these also come with a caveat or a threat of impinging on an individual's privacy, impinging on certain things that you do not want it to be stored forever, which organization can use to take either action against you or something. So what are those ethical things? What's your take on this whole thing of How do you make sure that, it is not impinging on the crossing that line? I mean, is there a view on that?
Well, it's a very difficult question which you've asked, because to be candid on this issue, I think all organizations are struggling, when it comes to drawing a boundary. While we put down, the basic firewalls, basic security systems, to hedge our these things. But when it comes to implementing tools, we know that there are ethical hackers. When things are happening at such a rampant pace, uh, today, whether you are a legacy organization or you're in a startup organization, you launch one tool, there is another tool, to combat, with another features. So in these kind of situations, I guess, going back to fundamentals is something which can prevent workforce and organizations, and in the larger context, entire systems, the entire infrastructure. And going back to fundamentals means that whatever are the basic rules which are defined in terms of privacy, in terms of data security, in terms of policies laid down in the companies, uh, you ensure that there is less ethical fading in the system, in the people's mind. And as senior HR leaders, or even anyone who is working in HR, you have to ensure that integrity and ethics are not compromised. And if there is one case, you should have zero tolerance on that. There has to be both, a reward as well as, penal system built in some form, in terms of both protocols, policies, and culture in the organization. If that is there, then some fog can be handled.
No, brilliant. I think that those guardrails are important. The first principles and fundamentals need to be kept in mind while we are running at a warp speed in terms of identifying and implementing it. One question that I wanted to ask, all the panelists, and if you can take, say, 30 seconds to tell. See, all of this is good to really showcase. These are very flashy technologies. They can do great job. How do you convince the leadership teams in your organizations to actually go for something? Because I'm sure that a lot of people struggle with that as to how do you actually make it work? How do you make them accept these kind of changes? A lot of, the senior leadership teams are old people like us who don't come to terms with a lot of these technologies, right? Yeah. So how do you do that?
So since you have given me 30 seconds, so I quickly tell you. So it is important to establish vision and business case. So how you can do it, you can articulate the benefit. Every CEO or I say shareholder, when they heard this word benefit, obviously they will give you sound listening. Okay, what? So you have to articulate the benefit. You also should highlight the success stories for that matter, because when you talk about competition, external ecosystem, environment, how they have actually moved in the business, in the entire space of managing business, highlight those success stories. And last but not the least for me is how you quantify the return on investment, how much you will ask, how much you will going to return to them. So when you really establish that clear vision and put this as a strong business case, which eventually help the business through aligning the business objectives, at the same time elevating the employee experience, because if you are not able to elevate the employee experience, at the end of the day, you are losing talent. And any good talent, even any CXO, CEO would not like to go. They would like to really retain talent at the same pace. So for me, that is very, very important. How strongly you put across your business case, talking about employee experience, how data can help taking right decision on the point, and eventually really supporting them with the efficiency. Because yes, it is going to be initial spend, but at the end of the day, over a period of time, it will bring efficiency on the table through increasing productivity, streamlining processes, engaging with the new Gen Zs, Gen Alpha in future. So that ecosystem for future, what we call it, that we are there to build future, and when you put that across, I don't think any leadership team, CXOs would say no for it. So that's my take.
Perfect. I think one is like the risk return. What is that you are investing? What will be the return? Always for senior leadership, what even as a consultant, we see that that 30-second elevator speech, if the story is not conceptualized or communicated in those 30 seconds, and in those 30 seconds decisions are made, it's already either agreed, not agreed, and then you can keep on getting into details, right?
Absolutely right.
Please, for you.
So
I know our time is up, but we'll take 30 seconds
Yeah,
to do that. Yeah.
I'll take 30 seconds. In HCL, whether it is any new business idea, whether it is new idea around HR digital transformation, we have a belief of 1-500. And it is imbibed from our HCL Technologies days that try on 1, multiply it to 5, and then scale it up to 100.
Wonderful.
So then you'll have a lot of learning when you'll go for implementation at a large scale. So this is what we follow very diligently at HCL. So this gives you a lot of learning, and then you'll have a lot of buying from leadership as well if they see results in that 1 and 5 stage.
So basically, you are saying that do a quick pilot with 1. If it succeeds, try to do it on 5, and then move to scale it up to whatever numbers that you want to. Wonderful. That's a great message.
Okay, I think in 30 seconds, what I would say that there are 3 things which are important: trust, intent, and your conviction about why you want to bring that a product or service in the organization. And there is one more thing which works well for me. When you talk about return on investment, also talk and figure out what is the value proposition it would bring in. Because if you can communicate that also along with that, both in terms of short-term as well as long-term benefits. Because at the end of the day, even if I calculate return on investment, if there is no value proposition coming out at the end of the day, it would not be a sustainable initiative. So if you're introducing a tool or a transformation product for 2 years, be clear about it. So having clarity is another aspect.
So that hook that you're talking about, I think there has to be a hook which kind of gets people interested in your story first, right?
Yes.
And then comes the real storytelling ability, and then comes that that storytelling has to happen in those 30 seconds elevator when you are walking with your leadership and you have actually been able to impress.